Welcome to the Consciously Connected podcast. I am Jamie Comer. Thank you for joining me here in Syros, Greece. We are well over halfway in our season 1, and I'm reflecting on the journey we've already had together, whether this is your first time listening or whether you've been tuning in since episode 1. And this really is a place for connecting with what matters to you most, for prioritizing what's most important to you, for crafting your path on your terms and feeling a deeper sense of belonging while being your whole self and having fun along the way. You know, self-discovery, your personal evolution and development, it's any transition you're going through, any spiritual awakening, any journey that you're on, any inner transformation or outer transformation for that matter. There is so much change that takes place, whether that shows up in, okay, I'm changing my career, I am becoming a parent, I have a new child, I'm moving and I'm starting a new lifestyle for my family. Whatever aspect or whatever it may look like for you, it is something unique, and I honor that about you. Whatever you're moving through, I honor what you're moving through. And my intention and my hope is that this space is really a place for you to continue to explore and be able to move through it and your life with more ease, flow, and gumption and fun. I believe joy is your birthright, and I hope that this space offers a place for you to cultivate more of that. Which, you know, it's not always sunny as we explore our inner landscape, right? Right now, as I'm speaking to you just next to the water, it's sunny out. A couple days ago, it was rainy and windy, and it was wavy here. And that's just like our inner landscape too. It's not always a sunny thing to explore. And so what you're doing here is brave work, willing to tune inward and to see, you know, to learn more about yourself. So thank you for being here and on this journey. And today, let's explore this. Let's explore our inner landscape with a bit of a visual that might help us make more sense of when we're experiencing emotions and feelings as we move through any change that we're going through. So to give a little story and context to this, my family moved here to Syros, Greece, and just a few days ago. We're here for 3 months with Boundless Life, a company that helps support digital nomad families or families that want to move and travel with their kids. And there's a lot of change and transition that takes place, right? Flying and hotels or places to stay and ferries and finding this new spot and settling in and then connecting with the community here. And there's a lot of emotions that can take place with that, with all the change. And by chance, there was a kind of a stormy day here. But the sea had been calling me. It was sunrise and I saw a little bit of blue sky, and I reached out to my friend and I said, hey, the sea is calling me. Do you want to jump in the ocean this morning? You know, and she's like, yes. And I was like, all right, awesome. Good. Got a partner in this. And the waves were wild and we jumped in, and it just felt, we just embraced it. We embraced the waves, the storm, so to speak. And compared to a day like this where I also jumped in and it was way easier to go in, right? You're like, oh, it's so scenic and beautiful. But that's how we feel inside sometimes. Sometimes we feel inside like it's just a storm and utter chaos going on, especially when we're being emotionally triggered by something. And as a parent, as a person who does, you know, conscious internal work, I am continuously aware of aware of the triggers exist in my life. And anytime I get upset. So just to clarify, triggers are things that you know, where you just notice you're emotionally upset about something, right? You're emotionally triggered by something. I guess that's why the phrase is. There's a few other phrases that may resonate more with you, but I'll use that one for today. And you know, when an emotional trigger arises, it feels like there's a storm happening. When we feel upset, angry, jealous, envious, scared. And I think fear often comes in, at least for me when I'm traveling, because there's new environments. I'm like looking out for safety for my kids. And honestly, most of the time it's like I'm fearful about things that aren't really worthy of I don't need to be fearful about, but I'm being triggered because I think I should be afraid of these things. And because it's the unknown, I'm like, how are my kids going to do in this environment? But really what it's about is how am I going to do in this environment? And so we could either, one thing we could explore today is how we acknowledge those storms when we're feeling emotionally like overwhelmed or stressed or uh, really upset or triggered by something that somebody's saying. Notice, your own habits here. And again, this is brave work, right? To notice, because we're facing something that we're so familiar with, yet we're used to doing, and that's kind of hard to move through sometimes. But I want to applaud you and acknowledge that just bringing awareness to this, bringing awareness to what upsets you or how you kind of respond to your emotional storms inside you is like big. The awareness is big. That's a big thing. So you're awesome, just by the way, just so you know. So just ask yourself, okay, how do I respond to these emotional storms that I have? On a stormy day, do I just acknowledge it and I face it? I'm like, okay, I got that. I just acknowledge the waves. I'm flowing with it. Or is it like, no, dang you waves, and you fight it and complain about it. Notice your own response. It's almost like a safety mechanism, maybe. My safety mechanism in storms had been two things: either getting like really quiet and recluse and hiding, or getting really big and defensive and angry. But really inside, I was just like hurt or sad. So just notice about for you. And maybe ask yourself, well, how would I like to acknowledge, or how would I like to move through my storms? And that, let's acknowledge first, storms are normal. We all have them. Like in weather, let's use nature as an example here. We need them. We need the rain. We need the wind. It all brings life. So we're normalizing here the emotional storms, the emotional triggers. That's all normal. We all got them. We're all moving through them. Yeah. And whether we choose to address them is really a choice, right? Whether we choose to acknowledge what upsets us and then let's get to the heart of that so we can kind of move through it instead of just avoid it or, eat or drink something to ignore it or whatever it may be. So notice for you, how you respond maybe to some emotional storms, and it may be different depending on kind of who you're having those emotional storms with or the situations, right? And here's a little practice that I love to use. I learned this from Dr. Stephanie Saito Tyson, and she told me, she's like, just ask yourself, what's at the heart of this? And once you have an answer, ask yourself again, what's at the heart of that? And what's at the heart of that? Continue to ask yourself this question, what's at the heart of this? And it's a way to kind of work through it. And meaning, so as an example, this morning, we're taking our kids to school for the second time. And there's lots of stairs going up these like fun little hallways and things. And there's so many fun things to look at: sticks, stones, cats, you name it. Our kids are super excited. And I start to feel myself getting anxious and frustrated. Like, come on, guys, let's go. We got to go. We got to get there on time. We got to get there on time because we were told we were going to get there on time. And, the anxiety starts to rise a little bit, the anxiousness. And so I can just push through that and upset at my kids and upset myself and just feel overwhelmed and frustrated by the end. Or, which I do sometimes, I admit, or I can ask myself, okay, well, what's at the heart of me feeling anxious and feeling like I need to get my kids there on time? Okay, well, at the heart of that is me feeling expectations that if I don't, then I'll be considered like, I'll get in trouble almost. Like people will not either respect me, or maybe they'll think I'm a bad parent, or I'm messing up everything else. I'm messing up everything for everybody else, the flow. And okay, what's at the heart of that? Oh, I want people to like me. Like really at the heart of it is I want people to like me and not, judge me or think I'm being selfish or not helpful. So we can kind of work our way down, into or deeper into what's at the heart of these emotional triggers of these storms, if we're willing to. It's almost like scuba diving, going down deep into the water. You're like willing to go deep and explore a little bit. You could do that. And you might be surprised about what you find. And it really ends up just being something so simple in phrase, like, oh yeah, I just want people to like me. Like, that's all. At the heart of it. And we can, by acknowledging that, the next time it happens, say the next time tomorrow when I'm taking my kids up to school or next time you're doing something that you might have been triggered by, you can think about, okay, well, now that I know why this trigger exists, I'm just aware of it. Now I get to make a choice. I get to decide if I actually care or not, or if I'm triggered by this. So in the case of walking my kids up to school, I like to help community-wise, help support us arriving at the same time, though I don't want to do it under a stressful situation. And I don't want to make anybody stressful, including my kids or myself or anybody else. So I can plan better. Hey, we can arrive earlier. We can leave earlier so we can have more fun on our walk and go slowly on our walk. So we can actually enjoy the experience along the way and be more present for that walk. So it does require some actual planning sometimes. You might find what you discover as you work through, okay, what's at the heart of this emotional trigger? Like, oh, maybe I actually do need to say how I feel to this person. Maybe I actually need to say I'm sorry to this person. Maybe I need to forgive myself for the situation. Maybe I need to be able to step back and listen to this person more. Maybe I need to give myself space and actually just need to rest for 5 minutes before I do anything else. You might find that you have maybe some very actionable solutions as you work your way getting down to the heart of it. I wonder, I suppose, as you explore your own inner world, as you explore how it affects your outer world, that's really where the magic is. How it affects your outer world. And when the storms come, maybe we'll be jumping into the water and be like, all right, bring it. Here we go. I'm having an emotional moment. Here we go. It's happening. And it won't feel as overwhelming or as intense. And there's more awareness and choice around it. And we may even find that we have more sunshiny moments too. I'm curious how this sat with you. I'm curious how this experience sat with you as you move through your wild waters, your wild seas. And there's so much magic in there. There's so much magic in you. Thank you for walking with me on this adventure and sitting with me in this case next to the sea. And the remainder of season 1 will be in Syros, Greece. So I look so forward to sharing different places with you here. Thank you for being you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Please share this with anyone you think who might be inspired by, so more people can connect with what matters to them most. And remember, what that looks like will be unique to each of us. Just like what our seas look like and our inner landscape looks like and feels like and our triggers. It's all super duper unique. At the same time, we may find how similar we really are when we share all this. Thank you for being you. You're freaking magical and already so awesome. Jamie Comer here, signing off. Ciao, friends.